All right, mic check. Mic check 1, 2, 3. And we're live. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope everyone's doing well today. Definitely right off the bat, the first thing to say is the Form 4 filing. I just tweeted out as I was literally just getting home, getting myself together, like, all right, what am I going to talk about on the stream tonight? Start thinking about things, pull up my laptop, pull up my email, because sometimes throughout the day, like I see stuff on my phone when I have like a free minute, and I'll be checking on stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I want to talk about this. And I'll email myself like an article and like my initial quick thought on it. And then at the end of the day, I'll pull it up in my email. And once I get it in my email, like at the end of the day, right now, like I'll get it ready to put on the stream and talk about it, whatever the case. And then I look and I'm like, oh, Form 4 filing 8 minutes ago. What is this? And sure enough, here we are. But are we situated? Side cam is bugging. Or when I say side cam, I just do a laptop on the side to make sure everything looks good from a viewer perspective. Okay. Am I lagging? Hold on. Looks like my webcam is a little bit. Yeah, it's doable. It's doable. It's not too bad. But we got Chad Clifford as first, second, third, and fourth. Howdy, you're not fifth, but you guys are here. I appreciate you popping in. Chad, howdy. Good to see you guys. Let's top to fourth. Tetron, thoughts on the current share price? I'm feeling pretty good about the discount. Yeah, Chad, I definitely think it's a great entry for anybody that wants to add to their position. I do admit it is a little bit unfortunate that it is where it is right now, but at the same time, like I've known this was always a possibility. Like I understand where the company's at, what the reality of it is in the short term, and I'm okay with it. So like part of me wants to see it higher because I think that's just a good indicator of where the company's going, and obviously eventually you want the price to rise. But at the same time, part of me wants it lower so that you can accumulate at a better price point. Just continue to dollar cost average, right? Just for like any other long term investment. So it's good and bad. It's like there's pros and cons, kind of just like anything else. But definitely, I would say it is surprising considering they did turn a profit in full year 2023. I know it wasn't this massive profit, and this is also something we're going to briefly touch on. I only glanced over this so far in yesterday's stream, but with everything that's happened, you would think it seems very likely they're going to turn a profit from here on out. In my opinion, that's the case, or what it appears to be. Of course, the Bears will say, oh, they're screwed, the revenue's falling. They'll just always focus on the bad things and not just look at the big picture. So I am a little bit surprised the share price is as low as it is, considering they are about to be net profitable. So we'll see, though, right? Anything could happen in the short term, and I think we'll get a little bit of positive price action tomorrow. I don't usually make like short-term predictions, but yeah, I think we'll get a little bit of positive price action tomorrow after this filing. And if Ryan Cohen were to purchase shares again and add to his position, I think we definitely get a lot more price action because historically we've seen that to be the case. And shout out to my boy Fitzy here. I wanted to just go through his tweet real quick. Purchased an additional 10,000 shares of GMA yesterday afternoon, an average price of 11.22. First insider buy, this main piece right here, since September 8th of last year when Chang and Alan Adel both added to their position. Now we just need Ryan Cohen to drop his Form 4 in the morning. Bullish as fuck. Fitzy's words, not mine. But yeah, so the last insider buy was September 8th, so it has been quite some time. And in the past, we've seen Larry buy and then Ryan Cohen buy after, but we've also seen Larry pick up some shares and Ryan not pick up shares after, right? So I wouldn't just assume Ryan Cohen's going to pick up shares, but considering how low the price is and that he picked up shares at a higher price point, and just given the negative sentiment constantly put out by the media, I think it is very likely and very possible that he purchases shares this week or in the near future. Just because I really think obviously I can't speak for him and I'm just speculating here, so you're more than welcome to disagree. But I feel like it's a situation where he understands that individuals such as myself and potentially yourself watching are following the company, keeping up with what's going on, and it's a vote of confidence him putting more of his cash into GameStop shares, even though he is the largest shareholder by a mile in terms of his position. I think it just continues to show how devoted he is to this company. I mean, he doesn't really, on the other side of the coin though, like he doesn't really have to show it because he's already the CEO, chairman of the board, and just cutting out more and more jobs such as the COO. And with that being the case, that usually will mean more work on someone such as the chairman or CEO if like the COO leaves, right? So I think that alone just is something in itself, but obviously like money and numbers speak louder than words. So if he buys even more shares, even more people become more bullish and feel, I guess, better where they're at with their investments. And I feel like he's kind of understands that. And maybe that's why he wants to pick up shares, because even picking up a small amount of shares just shows that he's still willing to add to his position. And if you're someone betting against it, you're also, okay, well, who knows when he's going to buy shares again, right? I mean, that's just kind of a quick ramble on it. But some of my latest thoughts. Damn, we got everyone in the chat. I didn't even tweet it out yet. Do you see any other board members buying, or only Larry? Yeah, howdy. Kind of just touching on that a little bit, but at the same time, I feel like maybe Alan Adel picks up a few more shares as well. I think it's very possible. And who else can I say how to get? DB, hello, Tetron, and all GME Elitis. Yes, sir. It's the GME Elitis stream. Thanks for being here. A little bit. Boondock says, let's fucking go. Yes, sir. I went for a run after work, and I'm trying to just build healthier habits. It's all about taking action, right? And obviously, going for one run once is not going to change anything. Like, I have to keep this habit up. So it just feels like a little bit of good karma, though. It was nice. Like, come home after I work, go for a run. When I say run, just like a jog, nothing too insane, right? I'm just trying to be in better shape and just strong mind, strong body, right? Just improve everything. So sit down, eat dinner, open my emails, start getting ready for the stream, and what do I have for me? A nice Form 4 Larry Chang buy shares. So that was a nice surprise for sure. Feels like a little bit of good karma, but not everything's about me. So that's not exactly the case. But let's fucking go. You see other board members buying. I think the big green candle this morning was Ryan Cohen buying. It could be Boondock. It really could be, because Larry Chang bought yesterday. The filing came today. If Ryan Cohen follows suit, then the same situation would occur tomorrow, where the Form 4 filing would likely come in the evening. I would be very surprised if it came during the trading day, if there even is one. But Annie, hope you're doing well. Thanks for being here. Good to see you. 4 drops tomorrow after hours. Yep, exactly. Heyo, Fresh Maker. Yes, sir. Dude, never forget. Fresh Maker is the reason my microphone works. I would have returned a perfectly good headset to GameStop. All because I didn't know. You just have to plug in the mic all the way. But that was a little strange to me when I got this headset. I'm like, you have to plug in the mic? But at the same time, it's kind of nice when like you want to just listen to something. Like I can just throw it on. And then I could also use it as like not a USB, like just like an aux cord. So if I want to just like throw it in my laptop or something. But what's Insider will be next? Encouraging? Jackson's? Absolutely. Thanks for being here. Hello, Tetrod. Not negative banana. Definitely not negative banana. No shot. But thanks for being here, man. Good to see you. Jay, Elitis. Yes, Jay. Thanks for being here. G America. That's right. How it would only make sense if Ryan to get shares at this price. Yeah, exactly. I think you're not onto something wrong there. You're definitely onto something. So I don't know why I worded it like that, but as I'm going through chat here, also got these infographics. I've been using this thing called Obsidian. It's pretty cool. It's like for note taking and like organizing. And I guess I have to upgrade this to be yellow and blue as well. And low key, guys, I mean, I'm not certain on this, so nothing's for certain yet. But just throwing the idea out there, I am considering rebranding Tetron a little bit from Tetron Invest to just Tetron, because I don't know. I think I just like that. So thinking about that, and then also maybe doing a new logo with a little bit of yellow and blue. So stay tuned for that. I'm not, again, not a guarantee, but just thinking about it. And it's surprising I can't zoom in more. That's very strange. Okay, well, I do have them bigger here. And basically what this allows you to do, this thing Obsidian, it's like a note-taking thing. So like I can add a new note, why I like the stock, and then I can go down here, and then boom, just to show you guys. But it usually lets you zoom. Oh, okay, I'm stupid. You have to make these bigger. That is why. I was like, I know you can zoom in, because I've done this in the past where you like zoom in to basically just focus on one thing. But let's keep going through the chat here, then we'll get situated. I guess BBY merger's off the table. Dear SGAV, I like DB's reaction, yes. The super, triple, double, quadra, mega merger does not appear to be occurring, unfortunately, right? And it is what it is, right? I always thought it was nonsense, and people can believe what they want, and I'm sure there's still some that believe there is this super secret merger that nobody knows about, that only Ryan Cohen is plotting to do this and all that. But I'll just focus on GameStop. And if a acquisition or anything like that occurs, then I'll worry about it when it comes out. So I'm not gonna speculate on that over and over. But yeah, I would say it's safe to say the triple double. I can't even say the triple double mega super quadra merger. That's what we should officially call it here. So it did not occur. Did not occur. Whoop. Okay, it's a little bit better. I'm definitely gonna get these out soon on Twitter. I think maybe just tweet one here and there. And it's just nice to visualize like what's taking place, and you could just see like here alone, right, from SG&A, there's such a significant difference year over year for an SG&A in terms of the dollar amount and then percentage as well. And definitely percentage is important to look at considering that revenue did fall year over year. Tetron, I would say, ugh, token of my words. Hi Tetron, hi Sharon. Hope you're doing well. Say you're hi, saying hi to Jay. Dear SGME, Al Nadal won't be undone by Larry Chang. Dear SGME, you could be right. Time will tell. I can't see the image at the moment. Did someone in the VR buy shares recently? Yes, Challenger. Uh, GameStop insider Larry Chang just picked up 10,000 shares today. About time we get a nugget of good news. Yeah, Meagle. It has been a while. It's been really, really quiet period for the company. I know the company's usually quiet, but they've been like really, really quiet as of late. So it's nice to see something, and not that this has to do with the functionality of the company, but just to see that the insiders are still intrigued. Not that I thought they weren't, but just a nice vote of confidence. Or Chang, wordsmith by day, Jimmy investor by night. I like that, dearest Jimmy. I like it. Yeah, his tweet yesterday had me like tripping over my own words. Or I was reading it, I'm like, oh, this is my first time reading it. What does this mean? But yeah, he is a wordsmith, that's for sure. Yeah, I gotta make these bigger, but I'm not gonna worry about this too much now. We'll jump right into it. Bought some GME shares today. Scott, yeah, I picked up a couple last week. I was picking up some, and I got I think maybe one or two in like the low tens. Like I try and just buy one like throughout the day when I'm gonna pick up a couple. I want the new egg acquisition still. How do you know? It's not a bad idea, honestly. Like I do see the perspective with that. I guess we would have to really look at what does Newegg's financials look like and how can it be integrated into GameStop? Is it all going to be in the Texas distribution center? Is it going to be something like that? Because we do know they are winding down the York, Pennsylvania one. So really, everything is being shipped out of Texas now. So that would have to play into it in some shape or form. But definitely something I want to touch on when looking through the 10K today is the cash flow statement. Oh, not there. Cash flow statement. Damn, you guys are too great in the chat. I can't even keep up. But I would like to see Jimmy marketing department step up its game. Coffee Donuts and Homer, thanks for being here. Yeah, no, I would like to see that too. I think they're doing the small things right that maybe they weren't doing right before, just a couple years ago. But I would like to see them do more. I guess you could call it guerrilla marketing, where it's like unique strategies to market because you have this like very unique audience. So it would make sense to find unique ways to engage with them and build the company up more and connect more people with the brand through unique marketing ideas. So how exactly they go about that, I don't know, but I do respect that opinion definitely. Where it would, I think, significantly also help the company if they were able to take it to the next level. It just becomes how and what purpose is there to take it to the next level, so to speak. Larry scoops 10,000 more shares. Let's fucking go. Yes, sir. Jay, thanks for being here. Get the name into the movies, TV show backgrounds, TV shirts at Comic Cons. Yeah, no, those are all great ideas. I like that. I definitely appreciate those ideas. Yeah, especially like movies. Like, you ever seen a movie when just like Pepsi's in the background, just a can of Pepsi? Like, they're paying for that. So, yeah, maybe if they did some stuff like that for some hit movies, that would be nice. Where are we at with the cash flow statements? Okay, so balance sheet, operations, and then cash flows. Okay, so we'll start at operations and then we'll go from there. Let's keep going through this perspective real quick. Get the name into TV shows. Might need to pull a DFV and YOLO on leap calls. Scott, that'd be ballsy, man. But hey, if you're feeling it, you do you. You guys know me. I'm not really an options kind of guy. I've sold one put on GameStop that I'm just letting it ride out. And it is what it is. If I have to exercise and buy the 100 shares, I'm forced to exercise, like, so be it. But, or I guess I want to be exercising. I'd just be forced to buy the 100 shares at the strike price I've sold the put at. So That's just me though. Everyone's always going to do it their own. Of course, it's in the way here. How did DFV guess at the leap price? It was a year out, wasn't it? He then saved enough money to exercise those options. Yeah, coffee, donuts, and Homer. That's remarkable, right? That happened, and I'm not sure what his thought process was there, but it is pretty incredible that he did actually exercise the calls. Because yeah, you would exercise your calls to buy at that lower price. So he definitely needed more money available in order to take that action. So what a time that was, though. I remember it was like, oh my gosh, it's like he put out a poll, I'm pretty sure, and it was like, should I sell all, sell some, or sell none? And I don't remember the result of the poll, but it was like the final YOLO update, and I think that's still the most like awarded post on Reddit or something like that. I could be wrong, but yeah, what a time. Damn. Getting like good memory flashbacks right now. But to jump into it here, because something I've been trying to focus on getting better understanding. Oh, you know what I just realized? I never even officially tweeted out the stream link. What a clown I am. Definitely drop a like, guys, if you don't mind. I would greatly appreciate that. So let's see, get this tweeted. Doing it on the side laptop now instead of boom, 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 back and forth on there. Because then yesterday's stream, I played an ad and like part of it, and it's like, you are now sharing revenue, my whole $1 of revenue that I get for streaming, right? With another person that you've put in this video. It was just like clicked on the ad and I didn't realize it was playing when I was getting set up, but it was because I was tweeting out the stream. That's what I'm trying to say. But GameStop, Stock Talk, live stream. Jimmy. Get the link. Pro tip, if any of you guys are interested in growing your Twitter, I don't know how much care about that, or X, whatever you call it these days. If you're ever going to tweet a link, you don't want to put it in the original tweet. You want to put it in the reply, because the algorithm rejects, or not rejects, but it's kind of like a landmine in the algorithm, so to speak, where if you post a link in your main tweet, they don't like X, Twitter, they don't want you leaving the app. So they put it in there where your post won't be promoted or show up in as many people's timelines if it's a situation where you have a link. So that's why I tend to tweet like live stream here, and then I put it in the next one just so a few more people could see it. That's just quick little bit of information. But looking at the cash flow statement here, because it starts with the net income, which is the result of the statement of operations. And we talked yesterday in the past, and everyone's kind of had some time to digest it at this point, that net income went from negative 313 in 2022 to positive 6.7 million in 2023. Hold on one second. All right, back in business. Sorry about that, guys. Did not expect that. I was like, what is going on over there? Something just randomly started playing. But anyways, to get back into this here, we went from negative 13, $313 million on the bottom line for GameStop in 2022 to positive $6.7 million for 2023. So it's a $320 million swing. It went from negative 1.03 EPS to 2 cents of EPS. So $1.05 swing in terms of the EPS, that much more positive. So we definitely saw the change on the bottom line, but then when you move on to statement of operations, or oh my gosh, statement of cash flows, I was moving on from the statement of operations to the statement of cash flows. But net income 6.7 versus negative 313. So that's where you see it carried down here. And then you subtract out depreciation and amortization, or sorry, add in, and then you also add in stock-based compensation expense. So I've been trying to take some notes on this just to clarify this better for you guys. So with the number being positive, like it's being added in to the operations as a whole. So stock-based compensation expense, it's added in because it's already accounted for previously, like within the liabilities. And then asset impairments, slightly positive, so that's added in as well. Deferred income taxes, so that is subtracted out. And then receivables is added in. And of course, I wrote check your email for the remainder of the notes, and I didn't pull those up ahead of time here, but pretty much like with the stock-based compensation, it's recognized over the vesting period. So it's taking place like each quarter. Like it's not just one fat expense for them. It's taking place over each quarter. And another thing I wanted to touch on is definitely like Neer Patel's compensation because GameStop CEO is out. He had a package, right? It goes over right here. Arrived nearly 2 years ago from Belk, where he was CEO for less than a year. He was previously a senior merchandising executive at Kohl's. At the time, GameStop he had a base salary of 200,000 and be eligible for 3.4 million in sign-on bonuses, along with a 14 million equity grant and a 12 million tripping on my words today, guys. 21 million stock grant for foregoing equity awards and compensation from Belk. In this week's filing, the GameStop said he will get a lump sum payment in the gross amount of 102,000, less certain deductions and withholdings from wages. This includes 10 weeks of base salary, health insurance coverage for 2 months, 30% of the remaining unearned portion of his sign-on bonus, and a portion of his equity awards. So reading this right here makes me think that there was some form of mutual agreement, some maybe disconnect in terms of perspectives or just how him and the rest of management were thinking, or maybe him and Ryan Cohen were butting heads in some shape or form. But it seems like it was civil considering these terms right here, or not that it's necessarily civil, but professional, and that there was some form of agreement that took place. Patel's departure comes days after the company reported on undisclosed number of layoffs and double-digit net sales declines in the fourth quarter and for the full year. Analysts have grown increasingly skeptical that the retailer can turn itself around. In December, analysts at global research firm Third Bridge estimated that GameStop has twice as many stores than what it needs, even after hundreds of closures in recent years. Bear articles really make me laugh because other the other bear articles are like, oh, they're closing more stores. Things are so horrible. This one says, oh yeah, they didn't close enough stores. That's why they're not doing good. Like, it's just comical, honestly. GameStop has a healthy cash balance, but it could be facing annual revenue declines of 150 million to 200 million given its lack of clear strategy to replace lost game sales. Wedbush analysts led by Michael Patchter, aka the one-star analyst per tip ranks, said in a research note last month the retailer, quote, may have trouble trimming costs fast enough to stem the growth of its losses. Patcher also said, if we're right, GameStop has a likely runway of no more than 5 years. Didn't he just say 2 years a couple years ago, or say 5 years like a couple years back? I'm pretty sure he said something similar previously, and now he's moved the goalpost. It would appear, right? I don't have the exact quote, but I find this very hard to believe considering that they did just go ahead and turn a profit. And if you look at their margins here, like first we can see, they did turn a profit for the full year. And clearly, cost cutting is the number one priority for them because their revenue fell off, but the net income improved so much. So I feel like the only way that happens is if you're really, really emphasizing cost cutting and determining no matter what, we need to make a net profit. If we don't make a net profit, then we have to fix something. We have to adjust something. That has to be priority number one. And that seems to be the commentary around the company and just the theme of focus, I guess you could say. And I think it's showing in the results. Obviously, we could see what happens in 2024, and that'll be able to validate that or make his argument valid, right? In the case that net income went back to being negative 313 million again next year, which I personally don't believe to be the case. So it is pretty funny to me that he would say, "Oh yeah, 5 year runway, and then they'll be done." That's our estimation. Sure, okay. Let's see what it looks like next year. Then you'll say, "Oh, in the next decade, GameStop is done," and they'll just keep changing what they say. But it is what it is, and this is why you got to do your own research, do your own due diligence, look into things yourself, think for yourself, right? Even when I'm sharing information, you should never just blindly believe what I think. Oh, okay, well, why does Tetron think that? How does he think that? What more should I know about this thing that I heard Tetron talking about in his stream, right? Like that's how I really would like people's thought process to be, and I think it's best for you guys as individuals. It's best for me because then you guys come back with, hey, well, you mentioned this last stream and I looked this up, so what do you think about this? So I'm speaking very generally there, but I really do think everyone thinking for themselves and continuing to share ideas is how individual investors continue to get better. And that's kind of what I want to build here. Just in building Tetron, just making myself a better investor over time, becoming more knowledgeable, and those watching to do the same, like alongside with me. So that's just where I'm at. But whoop, let's see. DFE exercise, we purchased the shares. Yep. Do you watch Jackie ever? No. Howdy. Who's Jackie? We crushed the last post with awards. Exactly. Yeah, it's crazy. It's actually crazy. Exercise the ultimate FU to the person that sold the calls. Applied for a senior analyst position, but that might be a stretch. Scott, you could do it, man. Just keep grinding at it. I believe in you, bro. I believe in you. I know you said a while back you've been studying and whatnot, so I believe in you. You can make it happen. Just got to keep grinding. But, speaking of career, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing with mine in the long term. I just got to figure it all out. Still, I like where I'm at right now, but I want to do more and just get to the best place I can be. But it's going to take time. Just like the GameStop turnaround's taking time. Great things take time. I really do believe that to be the case. But I don't expect the COO to be replaced. And, I get both sides of the argument here where some are starting to say, like, okay, there's no COO. Ryan Cohen is technically the CEO, but he's also the chairman. Like, he's wearing so many different hats. Like, maybe we need someone to continue to guide things. But from what I see, Neer Patel was the most expensive executive in terms of compensation. Excuse me. And in them losing revenue but raising net income, it just seems to all be fitting in with the theme of cost cutting. And I understand where the bears are like, oh, you're just gonna cost cut forever. Like, where's that gonna get them? But you have to get to a place where you're operating efficiently and turning a net profit and just continuing to accumulate that cash on your balance sheet. And even if nothing happens right away in terms of like a new revenue outlet or a new way the company can expand or make an acquisition such as Newegg, as mentioned, anything like that, you have to be operating efficiently as you are currently. Otherwise, adding in something else is just going to create even more chaos, or not chaos, but create even more legwork because you're still trying to like reaffirm and improve your core business, but at the same time now you're taking on something new. So it seems like they want the core business to be absolutely the most efficient, low cost structure as possible, and then from there take steps to build and grow as opportunities arise. That's kind of where my head's at least. But I wish I pulled up all my. I can't believe I left the notes in my email. Hold on one second. I'm gonna pull it up because I don't want want you guys seeing all my emails. One second, and I'm gonna pull up all my notes. Oh, you know what? I can just pull it up. Pull it up on the side here because it'll definitely help me as I go through the cash flow statement, because I feel like I've shied away from the cash flow statement just from it being the statement that I understand not the least, but I'm just not as familiar with it as I am with the balance sheet and just like statement of operations. Let's see. Let's get over here. I hope this information helps you guys. Where is it? Crazy. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Failing you guys right now. My bad about that. Just a moment. So yeah, so just to start with like depreciation and amortization. So depreciation is the process of allocating the cost of a tangible asset over its useful life. So it represents a systematic reduction in the value of fixed assets such as buildings, machineries, equipment, vehicles due to wear and tear, obsolescence, or aging. So that's being calculated out through the cash flow statement. And then with amortization, it's similar to depreciation, but it's specifically used for intangible assets such as patents, copyrights, trademarks, and goodwill. Like depreciation, amortization allocates the cost of an intangible asset over its useful life. So it's being calculated in terms of the cash flow statement here. And then stock-based compensation expense, it's the same deal where it's being recognized each quarter for the compensation that is taking place. So you can see between 2021 and 2022, this number went up, and that's when they were making a lot of these hires, such as Neer Patel. So their stock-based compensation was occurring and beginning to vest. And then this year now, 2023, with Furlong Gong and Neer Patel's wasn't calculated into 2023, but with Furlong gone and just more shifting from within to other executives we might have not heard about, maybe more mid-level executives, I guess you could say, where their name wasn't on the website or we might not be generally familiar with them, but they may not be there anymore. And that may have lowered just the amount of stock-based compensation expense that was recognized. So then receivables was a little bit higher. And then where's inventories? So with this number being 39.9, it's just a little bit higher in terms of inventory because let's pull it up here. So with the inventory, the ending inventory balance is the inventory remaining at the end of the period, or see, when the company sells inventory, it generates revenue, not cash flow statement. So with the inventory balance around 39, you could see it didn't really change much year over year. So they did buy a little bit more since it is a positive number. They did spend a little bit more on inventory, and the year prior they had spent 229 more on inventory than the amount of inventory they sold. So this is the difference of inventory they had when the year 2022 ended versus when the year 2023 ended. So it was like $39.9 million worth more of inventory. And then accounts payable and accrued liabilities, those are payments being made, so those are subtracted out. But yeah, definitely, before we go through this again, because I feel like I read through it today and I felt like, all right, I feel pretty good to talk about this tonight, but I gotta have the notes like on the screen. Like I have to like mark this up because it'll be a lot easier for me to explain when I have this all marked up in front of me instead of this like back and forth situation. So I do apologize for that. But overall, the main thing I wanted to get at here is the change in the amount of cash equivalents, restricted cash. So the beginning of the period, it was 1.196 billion down to 938.9 million. But a factor is the marketable securities because they're purchasing marketable securities and then marketable securities are maturing. So that is a factor here, but overall it's a little bit lower. And then if you want to see for Q4 specifically, what you do is, whoop, not corporate governance, or you go to newsroom, Q4 filings, or just the news, and then you see 14 weeks ended as of February 3rd, 2024. And that just gives you specifically Q4 information where you see for Q4, they had 21 cents of EPS, for example, whereas the full year was 2 cents of EPS. And then moving down, you can see, like for inventory, how much more they had because they had to buy so much stuff for the quarter, so they spent a ton on inventory. But yeah, let's hit the chat real quick. Let's see. Why is this stupid thing in the way of the chat? Very annoying. Okay, there we go. Inventory went down. That's why it's positive. Thank you, dear SGB. Yeah, no, I gotta mark that up because low key, I'm not that good on the spot when it's like trying to fix something in real time. Like I'm starting like right now. I'm like, oh shoot, wait, this is not how I had it planned in my head. So we're just gonna move on for now, and we are gonna circle back to this though. But something else I wanted to, as like just a miscellaneous thing to touch on, I wanted to go to page 57 here to wrote down. So this is the restricted stock awards. Like we can just read a little bit more about it. So fair value of restricted stock awards is recognized as compensation expense on a straight line basis between the grant date and the date the RSAs become fully vested. We have granted RSAs to certain associates, officers, and non-associate directors. We estimate the fair value of RSAs on the grant date based on the quoted market price of our common stock. RSAs granted by us are considered to be legally issued and outstanding as of the date of the grant, notwithstanding the shares that remain subject to the risk of forfeiture if the vesting conditions for such shares are not met, such as continuing to be employed by the company, and are included in the number of shares of Class A common stock shares outstanding disclosed on the cover page of this annual report. Total number of shares presented on our consolidated financial statements represents our Class A common stock that are legally issued and outstanding. Time-based RSAs and RSUs generally vest in installments, subject to continued service with us, and subject to accelerated vesting in the case of retirement eligibility and certain termination events. So, depending on the specifics of the situation, is basically this little last part is saying here. So, non-vested shares as of the end of the year 2022 for GameStop was 280,020 at an average grant date fair value of 2340, and 108,000 of those shares were vested over the year, and 167,000 were forfeited. So if that was the case, it does seem like, subject to continued service with us is a major factor. Diana, her last name was like something dash something, who was previously with the company and also a part of this share vesting. I know she forfeited a lot of shares in 2023. So that's probably, I would say, what a majority of these shares are here that were forfeited. The following table represents RSUs, so RSUs and RSAs. Same sort of situation. 5.9 million non-vested at the start of the year. 2.4 million were granted. Another than 1.3 million is vested, and this is shares right here. And then forfeited was another 300 million right here, and that's also probably her as well. Let's see if we get more specifics here. In fiscal 2021, we granted 742,972 shares of time-based RSAs with a weighted average grant date fair value of 2942. There were no grants of time-based RSAs in fiscal 2023 and 2022. In fiscal 2023, 2022, 2021, we granted 2.4, 5.5, 4.0 respectively RSUs. So it doesn't look like there's any specifics of the individuals here, but if you look on each of their pay packages, you could get the details on that. But during the past 3 years, we included compensation expense inclusive of forfeitures relating to the grants of RSAs and RSUs in the amounts of 22.2 million, 40.1 million, and 30.5 respectively. In SG&A expenses in our consolidated statement of operations, SG&A generally overhead cost, so that would make sense that it does get calculated into that. And as a part of SG&A, it's not too much so, and it's a little bit less than the year prior. And when we look at SG&A, you see that for the full year it's 1.3 billion, so it is a relatively small amount when you look at SG&A as a whole. So as of February 3rd, 2024, 0.1 unrecognized expense, but a non-vested time base doesn't seem too important. There was 78.2 million of unrecognized compensation expense related to non-vested time-based RSUs that is expected to be recognized over a weighted average period of 2.4 years. So just want to briefly touch on that, and let's see. Yeah, definitely look at the leases some more. And this is something I'll have to break down off stream as well. But so accounts payable and accrued liabilities, the reason for the drop in cash, it just means we paid down our debts more so than last year. Thank you, dearest Jimmy. Thank you. I don't know why, for whatever reason, I am just choking on my words today. It's been a busy time. No, you know what? No excuses. No excuses. Just have to be better. So for some reason, everything I was reading today and preparing to say about the cash flow statement just decided to disappear in my brain as soon as we started talking about it here. So gonna come back strong on that. I gotta read a little bit more, but because I can. Exactly. But let's go to the leases. So all of our retail stores are leased. Store leases typically provide for a lease term of 1 to 5 years plus renewal options. There was a ton that expired in 2023, so there were a lot that were extended or renewed, but obviously there were stores that were wound down as well, and a as mentioned earlier, the distribution center, York, Pennsylvania, is being wound down. So if you look at last year's 10K, there was a couple other locations on here as well listed in terms of the distribution administration, and there was a couple other. There's also a fulfillment center and distribution center, but York, Pennsylvania, it was announced that they are winding it down, and it's going to be a situation where consolidated U.S. fulfillment activities is going to be in Grapevine, Texas during the first quarter of 2024, which is right now. So they're pretty much just finishing up, winding down York, Pennsylvania. And at this point, everything's really going to be coming out of the Grapevine, Texas location. But in terms of the stores, there's 4,169. 1,350 of them expire in 2024. If you look at last year's 10K, I don't think this many were expiring in 2024, so I would think there's some of the stores from 2023 where their lease was expiring that they maybe extended it one more year and said, okay, like we'll see where we're at with this particular location in just one more year from now, where it's maybe in between, like maybe sooner than later we're gonna have to close this, but maybe the ball's going to get more foot traffic and that might change it, or let's just see one more year to get more data and information on the store before we make a decision on that. So I would imagine there were some leases that were renewed just for like a 1 year period, but then there's also several that were renewed on a longer term basis where they know it's a location they absolutely definitely want to keep, and that would be fiscal 2028 and later. And then if you read down here, it says with an average remaining lease life, including certain options, of approximately 6 years. And dates for the lease facilities range from 2024 to 2032. So that tells us 2028 and later means 2028 through 2032. So that's the latest on that. And, as this article points out, or Michael Clown, whatever his name is, Michael Patchter says, if we're right, GameStop has likely a runway of no more than 5 years, or given its lack. Oh no, this was Third Bridge estimated that GameStop has twice as many stores as it needs. So we'll see, right? We'll see if they wind down more stores. I think it is possible as the years come and just everything continues to shift online. It does make sense. But if they are going that route, I would like to see them open more stores like the Milan, Italy location that are more in depth, more people going there, like an area ideally with a lot of foot traffic where there's maybe a lot of tourists, or if not tourists, just a lot of people walking by every day that might be like, yeah, let me just pop in. This place looks pretty cool. Like, and then maybe just wind up buying something, and then all of a sudden they're a GameStop customer again, and they're buying from the company when they haven't been for a long while, or that maybe they never did in the past. So I'd like to see more stores like that if they are going to continue to wind down stores, or as whoever Third Bridges says, like, oh, they still have twice as many stores as they need. I mean, imagine the articles though that's like GameStop is closing down 50% of its stores. That would be like pasted everywhere, all over the place. Oh my God, GameStop's so horrible. They're so screwed. OMG, OMG. But I don't see that to be the case, and I think it would be poor decision making to just shut down that many all at one time. So wouldn't expect to see that in the near term. But yeah, here we are, right? Here we are talking GameStop. The Form 4 came out. I'm definitely wondering, is Ryan Cohen going to pick up some shares? It seems like it might be a good time for him to do, I would say, his like annual purchase, although it's not, there's not a ton of backlog of data to support that, but he did make one purchase in 2022, then he made another purchase in 2023. And here we are now in 2024 with the share price lower than each of those purchases. So I think it'd be very reasonable to expect him to make a purchase, but you don't want to just blindly bet on it with like a YOLO call or something like that, or think, oh, if it's definitely going to happen. It's definitely going to happen. Nothing's ever for certain. So we'll see. We'll definitely have to see. But I hope GME recognizes better leases for stores that kept open. Malls are dead or dying in my state. Yeah, coffee, donuts, and Homer. For me, around me, like the mall, I would say the malls are still doing pretty decent, but in certain areas, right? Like you see it more than others. And I think that's really where they need all the analytics in place. And I've talked about this a little bit in the past. And I'm trying to write a summary on it. Got to get a tweet out about it soon. Where this Yobik thing, right? It's a GameStop's main menu communication. It's basically an app for individuals that work for the company to use from within, and just provides them with real-time data, analytics, questions to be answered. It's for training purposes for new employees, all those sorts of things. And while it may not be specifically Yobik, I know they also have SAP technology in place. And in general, with Ryan Cohen taking ownership of the company and just controlling how things are going, the new management team has put in analytics and data structures in place where they can keep track of, okay, well, stores in this region are doing better year over year. Stores in this region, though, are doing worse year over year. And then they even have it broken down by individual store. So then you, okay, well, let's look at this region. Maybe we need to consolidate. We have 10 stores in this particular region. Let's look at the possibility of bringing it down to 7 stores, and let's look at the 5 lowest stores and then pick of those 5 which 3 we're going to wind down. And then another factor could be, depending how they're analyzing it and who's analyzing it and the specifics, but another factor could be like, okay, well, we don't want to close this one because the same customers that are going to that one might not go to these other ones because they're much farther, whereas these two are just about a 8-minute drive from each other. So it would make sense to close one of these particular stores in this particular region, right? And that's where you have to believe in the management team to make those proper decisions. And yeah, that's kind of where my head's at in terms of the leases as a whole. And definitely though, I'm not going to sugarcoat it that revenue needs to find a way to go up. Maybe not next year necessarily, but I would say within a couple of years. But again, even if revenue's not going up, as long as they are turning a net profit, that allows them to keep a strong balance sheet and just keeps the door open for opportunity to acquire another business, expand in some way that has maybe not been speculated upon yet by myself or any other individual out there, or maybe even going the route of dividends one day. Although I feel like they have to really have something thriving and pushing them forwards and getting them on the path to growing top line revenue fairly consistently, if not completely consistently. And then you start to think about things like dividends and just other actions you can take, like potentially share buybacks and all those sorts of things. But they just got to keep chugging along, keep turning a net profit. That's absolutely number one. We know with COO now, that's CEO. Oh my gosh, why can't I talk today? This is crazy. I think I am going to wrap it up in a few minutes here because for some reason I'm just keep tripping over my words. But yeah, I definitely want to try to get one more stream in this week as well. So definitely keep an eye on my Twitter for that. If you guys don't follow me already, at Tetron Invest on X / Twitter, whatever you call it these days. But definitely going to try and do one more stream this week, and then also just put out that summary about Ubik or Yobik. I still got to figure out how to say it, like Ubik. Yeah, it's got to be an U, right? Because it's double O, so Ubik. But yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't know what it is today, but for some reason I feel like not off, but I don't know. I have like things I want to say in my head or just ideas, and for some reason it's just not coming out right today. I don't know what it is, but I do really appreciate you guys being here. I really, really do. I always do. So yeah, I think with that being said, I am gonna leave it there for today. Again, I am gonna get another stream out soon, and I'm committing this right now to you guys. I'm going to make another video. I just looked today and I realized my last official upload was 6 months ago, and that's just crazy because that's how I started this channel and what I was doing, just sharing my thoughts. And then I started thinking, like, okay, I need to make the videos more in depth. I started doing them a little bit, do more editing and whatever. But I think I want to just go back to just some simple, quick GameStop thoughts that I have sometimes. And even I used to record them on my lunch break at work sometimes. I'd be on lunch and I'm like, you know what, I have an extra 20 minutes here, and like this idea is bouncing around in my mind, so I might as well just do a quick little video. And yeah, and then that's how GME Stock Thoughts videos, and some of you may have found me from GME Stock Thoughts, like YouTube videos I used to put out. So I got to get back into doing those because that's kind of, I guess, like Tetron's bread and butter, you could say, like originally, and just what was working for me. But don't get me wrong, still going to keep doing the streams here. But yeah, so with that being said, we got COO out, we got, so Neer Patel's gone, but we got Larry Chang picking up shares. We got the possibility of Ryan Cohen picking up shares. tomorrow, or maybe he already did, and the filing's gonna come out tomorrow, so we'll have to stay tuned for that. And then over here we have, GameStop's rare appearance on YouTube, what investors should know, which, just kind of briefly going through it. Nothing too crazy here. It is a pretty funny video if you guys haven't watched it yet, or it just shows that Ryan Cohen does have a pretty good sense of humor, in my opinion at least. And just also from the video, he does appear to be a very down to earth guy. And the YouTuber, who's this guy, like, what is it, like Seth? Yeah, Seth Myring. I'd never heard of him before this, so from his perspective, right, he probably thought, oh, I can get some new followers and subscribers and people just checking out my videos from my GameStop video. I haven't checked out his other stuff, so I don't really know about it. But I did see, like in my recommended, that he's been like trolling GameStop. So Ryan Cohen to be lighthearted about it, I think, just kind of shows the kind of guy he is. And it's called like "I Pranked the CEO of GameStop" if you want to look it up. But he just said returning games with employees' pictures on them, or the premise is self-evident. Following the video, found himself quote-unquote banned. In response, he sought to reverse the ban by visiting GameStop headquarters, and that's kind of how this all came to be. So I don't think Ryan Cohen went out of his way to do this, but when the guy was like, "I'm going to come to the headquarters," and they told him about it, he was probably like, "You know what? Yeah, put it on my calendar for 10:15. Let's do it." Right? So gotta love it. I think it's funny, but titled "Call of Booty." And it is pretty funny though that this warrants, like, how quiet he is and how low key he usually is warrants a headline like this, where GameStop CEO Ryan Cohen's rare appearance on YouTube, what investors should know. You would never ever ever see that as a headline for any other company. So it is pretty funny. And they just throw his tweets in and say Ryan himself has described his humor as acidic, which is evident in his somewhat active presence on social media platforms such as X, formerly Twitter. I've been using them wrong the whole time. Where do I insert them? Yeah, Q-tips, I'll tell you guys, I did. They always say, oh, don't put a Q-tip too far into your ear. Well, guess what, guys? When I was younger, I was like, oh, there's wax in my ear. Let me use a Q-tip. And I put it too far in, and then also I was like, oh my God, I can't hear. I was like, I literally can't hear out of my, or it's like muffled. Like, what have I done? Oh, fuck, fuck, fuck. Oh my gosh. They literally say, everyone says, like, don't put them in deep in your ear, right? Or like something's going wrong. Like, oh my God, I'm going to be partly deaf forever in one ear. What have I done? I'm such an idiot. You start having all those thoughts. And then I go to the doctor and they're like, did you use a Q-tip? And I'm like, maybe. No, yeah. So obviously I'd tell the doctor, you want to keep real with the doc, right? So he's like, okay, well, look, got the little light or whatever, right? They're like, okay, what's going on in there? All right, so pretty much you got to have an extraction. You got to have a wax extraction because you basically push it up against your eardrum. So a little bit disgusting, but I thought I'd share with you guys in case you thought, let me stick a Q-tip in my ear, or, oh yeah, like I just got to get some wax out. Do not do it. Do not do it. Because then I had the one ear like extracted, and then I felt like, oh, I could hear so good. And then the other ear, I was like, oh, now there's like an imbalance. But also, obviously, go to a doctor, got to pay for it for something like that. So, and also, you don't want to damage your eardrum. So, that's my story about Q-tips. So, when I saw this tweet, it did kind of give me a flashback. I was like, I know you're not supposed to put them all the way in your ear canal, or you will have to go to the doctor and get an ear wax extraction. But that was my experience. I hope none of you have had to go through that. And damn, literally nothing's working today. Even my laptop's just popping off, but it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. We keep grinding forwards. I do appreciate you guys being here. I'm really trying to get up to 3 streams a week now. So hold me to that. If I don't, be on Twitter, be like, yo, Tetron, what are you doing? You said 3 streams, 3 streams. And even if I'm busy and it's got to be short and sweet, so be it. And even like today, where I feel like for some reason I didn't have my A game, and I'm not saying that like I'm not trying, right? Try and bring that. Like I'm always gonna try and bring my A plus game, right? But for some reason, whatever reason, just couldn't get my ideas across as strongly as I'd like. So just got to bounce back for next time. Keep grinding forwards. And yeah, I pretty much hope all of you have a good night. Let's hit the chat real quick. No sell, no sell. It was the eclipse. Laughing my ass off. Yeah, Brett. Honestly, it could have been. It could have been the eclipse. It's the eclipse, and then also by me there was the earthquake on Friday. So I was joking around yesterday at work. I was like, oh yeah, back-to-back business days, back-to-back craziness. I was like, we're having the eclipse today, but just one business day ago we did have an earthquake, which was pretty bizarre. Earthquake around here is crazy in the New York, New Jersey area. So pretty nuts, but it would be great to see more partnerships. Coffee Donuts and Homer. Yeah, no, definitely more partnerships would be ideal. I would definitely agree with that. And I always forget you could do this instead of having all the other stuff here. But let's see, and let's see, 100. Thanks for the story, Noah. Of course, Freshmaker. Of course, I'm trying to do that more too. Just be more like human with you guys. Not that I'm like a robot right now, but I feel like sometimes I'm like, oh, I have to just stay on topic, stay in GameStop, and also, I'm still all just figure this out. It's been, I think, less than 1 year total of streaming. Maybe it's been about a year now, but there's still more to learn. I'm keep trying to be better as an individual. I keep trying to be better as a streamer, an investor, all that. And one thing I can continue to say is all of you should do the same. Maybe not streaming, that not everybody's thing, right? But whatever your thing is, just keep trying to be the best at it. Keep trying to do it more and more, and just build good habits and just keep grinding at it. And sometimes just all of a sudden you're like, oh, I figured it out. I've been trying to solve this problem or figure out what to do for so long, and boom, it just hits you out of nowhere, right? So the message is just keep going. Just keep going, man. That's the way to do it. But 100K is pocket change to the billionaires. It would be nice if they could spare 1 million for chair purchase. That's an attention getter. That is very true. Coffee, donuts, and Homer. You're definitely not wrong. I don't think Larry Chang is a billionaire, or is he? With Larry Chang, I'm not too sure. I would say maybe not. I'm not sure how much Volition Capital is worth because I know that's pretty much where all his wealth is from. But I do know he's definitely, the first prominent investor in Chewy, and that's really why him and Ryan have a close relationship. And Alan Adel, with his involvement in Chewy, I would say they're like the big three, or like kind of Ryan Cohen's two right hand guys. But yeah, no, I'm gonna leave it there for today. Again, I appreciate you guys hopping in, watching the stream. I do apologize if it wasn't the highest of quality today and just misspeaking in any way, but just got to keep grinding to be better. And also just showing you guys like I'm human. I'm gonna make mistakes, and when I do make mistakes, though, I do want to be made aware of them. So never be afraid in the chat, like, oh, like, no, you just misspoke there, because I do want to improve, and it's challenging, but I do want to keep doing that. So again, I appreciate you guys so much. You're the best. Thank you so much. Have a good night.